Lights on. Laura Lentz,
Hello. Welcome.
good to see you, love.
Welcome to my podcast.
We have an amazing guest with us, which I will get to momentarily. Anything you need to get off your chest? There's always a weekly dump that you feel really led to start with. Feel free.
Today I am ready for fall.
Okay.
Tulsa is still hot. It's 84 degrees, and I'm ready for it to be about 64 degrees.
Okay. So you have an actual temperature in mind.
Yep.
64?
Well, then I can get my pumpkins out.
Yeah.
Feels right. But right now it's just too hot. Can't do it.
I'm not going to mention how weird it is that you're decorating for Christmas. I'm just not going to mention that
I'm not
publicly.
decorating for
You
Christmas.
kind of are.
I am, though, thinking about skipping over fall and going straight to
Yeah.
Christmas because
What do you think that says about you?
I just love the holidays so much.
Well, I love you, and I live with it.
Mhm.
It takes a lot, to put up with, but I'm up for the challenge.
Yeah.
That was vindictive. Here is what you're gonna get today. Glad you're here. Glad you're checking in. This is a really, really important episode, and we're gonna talk about some themes that can radically change your life, which we touched on last week. We are big believers right now. So if you're in your car, if you're watching this, if you are actively contributing to something that's bringing life, your life will get dramatically better quicker.
Mhm.
If you're anxious, if you're depressed, remember what we said. If you didn't catch it last week, go listen to it. Creation is the antidote to consumption that kills you. And today I'm going to give you an opportunity, if you're listening, to get active in something that I think is earth-changing. If you needed like a heading, we're going to talk about adoption, abortion, compassion, and the Plana solution. And we're going to dive right into this because I know how hot the politics are right now, and I know what's going on in our culture. That's why we wanted to hit it head on. But abortion is perhaps the most divisive political issue in our culture. And Pew Research, this is like 2024 study that I just read. It shows that abortion discussions are the least civil topic in online faith and politics spaces. And that says so much about our ability as a culture to hold tension and truth. The least civil. Keep in mind how awful people online are.
Right.
So for this to be the number one thing, can you imagine how nasty and how ugly and how fruitless most conversations are? And that's why we wanted to really, really jump into this, because with topics like anything politically hot right now, the problem seems so big, it makes people feel so small. Like I can't do anything. And it adds to depression, it adds to anxiety, and it adds to trolling online because people feel like they have no other discourse. So we're just going to say stupid things, stand on issues we don't really care about, and the list goes on. We are about something better. There's a better opportunity for people. Enter Plana. So if you have been a part of the Lights On pod, you have heard us promoting and talking and working with this company, and people ask me all the time, tell me more about Plana. And I am excited today that we have the founder, the leader, the amazing human that is Phoebe Enterman with us today.
Yeah.
It is so good to have you. And I'm surrounded by Aussies again.
Yes,
I don't
you
know
are.
what I did in another life that God has forsaken me to be constantly barraged with this
It's awful,
accent
isn't
that
it?
eliminates R's and makes up
Eliminates
words.
Rs.
No, but you two look like you're from the same Australian tree.
I know.
And
So
so
we didn't even plan it.
you didn't even plan
We're
it. But
matching. We don't know. It just happened.
Plana, I describe it as compassion with the business plan.
Ooh, can I steal that?
You can't.
I
You can't.
like that.
Because I despise virtue signals, and I hate people with big ideas and no handles. And when I found out about you, Laura comes home from Vegas, tells me all about you and the company, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that sounds to me like it's genius and it's brilliant. And then to meet you and see how full of life you are, and you're 24 years old, which is to me another challenge to anybody
Amazing.
out there, like to be on the front foot at this age to start something that's so powerful. I just want to acknowledge how big of a deal it is. Like you are somebody that we can point to and say, you don't have to wait to just wade into maybe the hottest political discourse discussion anybody could have. And here comes this 24-year-old Aussie chick who's like, why not take a shot? Why not try to bring light?
Yeah.
And what I love about it is it's bigger than politics, and politics matter deeply. Politics create policy. Policy impacts people. We get that. But something happens when politics muddles things. People get lost in the middle. They're real people. So abortion's no different. Like, we have these giant discussions and these wars and these legislative, whatever going on about this. In the middle are real people trying to figure out in real time and enter something like Plana. So you've dedicated your life to this. Can you give me, and I promise you, if you're listening, this is the easiest way for anybody that cares about moms, babies, and giving help to someone who desperately needs it. Plana is for you. Forget about politics for a second. Like, we can all agree that moms need help, that babies matter, and that people who are desperate, they need help. And that's why this is like, I don't care if you're blue or red, left or right. Why I love Plana is because it is something that's bigger than both of that. So can you tell us a little bit about you, and then why you have chosen to dedicate your entire life to moving from Brisbane, Australia, Brizzy, yeah, mate,
Brizzy.
bit of the Brizzies,
Really?
yeah. Yeah,
At least you say Brisbane and not Brisbane.
Brisbane, that is my-
yeah.
Isn't it the worst?
Yeah, does that annoy you guys? Does
Just
it?
like Melbourne.
So you
Melbourne.
two Australians are going to start getting judgy about the way we pronounce stuff.
Yeah, you say it wrong.
We don't say it wrong. We invented the language.
You didn't
You
invent the
hijack
language.
and butcher
What
it.
about the English?
The English did.
We don't give
And we're closer to the
English
English
credit
than
for
you are,
anything.
right?
The English are lucky that we're here. Okay, we're lucky
my
we
gosh.
let them. But Phoebe, tell us, like, why are you doing this? Firstly, give me a snapshot of what Plana is. So if someone's listening right now and have no idea what it is, tell me that. And then what the heck are you doing at 24 years old, having the guts to move to Las Vegas to stand 10 toes down on something you believe in?
Yeah, no. I had a conversation a couple years ago with a couple friends that I didn't know at the time, and we just talked about this idea of unplanned pregnancies in the US and how a young woman looks down at a pregnancy test and it's positive, and she feels like her dreams for a future are just shattered. But on the flip side of that experience, you have a woman who looks down at a negative pregnancy test, and her dreams for a family feel like they're shattered, right? And we talked about, like, people don't put these side by side, right? People don't think, wait a minute, there's like a logical solution here.
Yes.
We could connect these women in a way that's never been done before, and we could kind of help them be the solution to each other's problems, right? And so when we started looking into it and looking into the state of unplanned pregnancy care and, like, you have an unplanned pregnancy, where do you go and what do you do and what support is available? We were just kind of shocked to see, like, the gaps in what the modern woman looks for and where she looks for, support, and, like, what was currently happening. And so we didn't plan to do this organization. It just kind of happened out of, like, there's a need here and we feel called with a purpose to be able to fill this need. And like, for me personally, like, I didn't seek out this opportunity. It just kind of happened. But my mum was an unplanned pregnancy, and my nan had my mum when she was a teenager. And so for me, I'm just very, like, passionate about young women my age need to have better support and need to, have a solution that really understands them. So that's a little bit about, like, the why behind why I'm doing this. But I also just feel like, when you give your purpose to God and when you really seek to do something big, like, it doesn't matter about your age. I feel like you can, if you're led, with a passion, and if you see that, if you see the blessings that you've been given, you have a responsibility to help other people, right?
Yeah, you do.
And so I'm like, I've been given so much, and if I don't show up for young women and work my butt off to help young women who weren't given the opportunities I was, then what am I doing, right?
Phoebe, what have we lost as a culture when we've made abortion more about ideology than empathy?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, because I think we've lost, like, the experience of the young woman herself. right? There's a lot of discussions about her experience, about what she should or shouldn't do, about, there's a lot of, I think, shame, a lot of stigma, a lot of let me use this discussion for my platform and for my glory and for my politics. But it's like, wait a minute, what does she actually need?
Yeah.
Are we building a solution that helps your ego, or are we building a solution that actually meets her in the place that she is?
Yeah.
And so I think, leading with empathy and leading with no woman is just like, yay, let's go and do this. It's like, no, like, this is a hard time in her life. Rather than coming and saying, you should do this, you should do that. Like, maybe we should listen.
Yeah. I think it's a beautiful point. When you spoke to these women being used as like pawns, and one of my funniest experiences in New York. So I've been a pro-life man my whole life, especially, with my faith where it aligns. And we did an article in GQ years ago, and I was asked by the writer, her name is Taffy, beautiful, awesome human, directly about this issue. And I spoke directly to it. Here's my belief. Very clear, very succinct. And then I went on a show called The View, and I knew it was going to be a setup for sure. And sure enough, the question comes around to this lady, Joy, and she asked me, a really trigger type question about abortion. She said, what would you tell a woman who came into your church and she wanted to have an abortion? And you could tell in the tone, like she was not interested in the discussion. And my answer was, the first thing I would do is I'd ask her name. And, and I went on this thing, and I got, a very loud pushback from Christians who were mad at me because I didn't immediately lead with whatever they think the truth is. And to me, it was so funny because I've been clear about our stance. We've stood on this forever. And in this one moment, I gave her an honest answer, which was, I'd like to know the name of the person Laura and I are about to deal with. And it made sense to everybody but somebody who wants a soapbox badly. And that's when I started realizing in New York, this represents a lot right here. Because how, as a Christian, could you push back on somebody who has an answer like, what do you believe about abortion? Well, I'll get there, but what's your name?
Yeah.
That to me represents a lot. And that's why I fell in love with Plana, because we've always had a heart to let's not get involved in all of this insanity right now. Are you okay? What do you need?
Yeah.
And that's what, like, my quick take on stuff like this. If the only time you're ever passionate about an issue is when you go vote, but you never go back to the issue and never stand on it, never support anything, I think there's an opportunity for people to do better. Right now, if you ask people about issues, they're talking about issues they vote on. Rarely do you have people that are, okay, cool, you believe that? Where's the evidence that it matters to you?
Right.
And a lot of the people that listen to Lights On are Christians. And there's a lot of people who probably lean, to the right, when it comes to moments like this. And my question's the same. Don't just lean to your angle.
Yeah.
Stand on something that means it matters to you. You voted for it. Cool. What else?
Yeah.
What are your hands busy doing? So
exactly. And I feel like you kind of hit the nail on the head. Gen Z, we can smell an agenda from a mile away.
Yeah.
Right? And so, like, at the moment, like, it's kind of like if you have a friend who's trying to sell you something, like, from the moment you start to sense it, like, your guard's up, like, this isn't genuine, this isn't authentic, because there's an agenda behind this, right? And I'm like, young women are smarter than we give them credit for. Like, these young women can sense if you have a political agenda behind the help you're trying to give, right? And so just being like, like, what is your name? Like, I'm interested in you as a person, not just what you can do for me and my platform. So I think that's a great response.
And even when it comes to activism, there's a whole generation disconnect where people are like, my parents say we're this, but we don't do anything about it. My parents tell me that we stand for this, we vote for this guy, and this is how we live, but our lives don't show any of it. And that's why I always tell people who are passionate about helping others, I'm like, Plana is the type of thing that our world is going to need more of, where it's like, okay, I'm done voting, I'm done tweeting, I'm done typing with my warrior fingers. I would actually like to get some skin in the game. Yeah. I think if you call yourself pro-life, but you're not pro-mother, pro-support, pro-recovery, are you really pro-life? And if you call yourself pro-choice, but you're not pro-resource, pro-healing, pro-future, do you really value choice?
Right.
Every side has to answer for this.
It's
and
like,
that's...
It's like pro-life, but not the quality of the life, or pro-choice, but only one choice. It's you've got to look at these and what they are. Like it's quantity and quality of life. It's choice and what she wants to choose, and it could be something that's different from what you really want. You know.
Give me this, Phoebe. Give me like a glimpse of what it's like for a woman facing an unplanned pregnancy today. Like, what have you seen? What does she face? So, because I wouldn't know, and I'm so removed from that world. It's like if I were trying to put myself in the shoes of, so you, who knows how it happened, but you are facing that pregnancy test that says positive. What does that look like? An unplanned pregnancy in America. What is that? If you can summarize it, what is that woman facing?
Yeah, and I would say, like, I can't pretend that it's my experience, right? I get to talk to these women. I get to be in the demographic to understand, like, how, one would go about this. But from the research, from the personal experience of having our team trying to coordinate these resources, right? Kylie on my team, she was tasked with contact all of the local resources that a woman would need in this situation.
Because that's what we do, by the way, Christians especially. Oh, don't have an abortion. Here's 7 numbers to go call.
7's low.
God, we're going to pray for you. 15. Let's go back to the picket line. And a woman standing there with 9 numbers of like 1-800 rote phone call numbers.
Don't work.
They don't work. They're not there.
Manning the email.
Yeah.
Right. Kylie's doing her best. She's like on the edge over there, just being like, no one's responding to my emails. And she's a full-time paid professional, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Who doesn't have the stress of an unplanned pregnancy hanging over her head. So it's like you find out, right? I've got friends who've had unplanned pregnancies, friends who have had, who have adopted or who have had abortions. And it's like, what was that experience like for you? It's like your identity, your plans that go forward, your identity is being challenged. You're now not, the career or the education or whatever you thought that you were going to be. Now you're at a crossroads here. You are dealing with the shame and stigma that people are going to try to put on you. You're dealing with trying to figure out the logistics of like, can I stay in my apartment? What happens to my college degree, right?
Yeah.
It's overwhelming on top of overwhelming.
Yeah.
And there is so much noise. You should do this. You should do that. Blah, 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 blah. And a lot of sides make a lot of good points over and over and over top of each other. What are you supposed to do?
Where am I going to go? And our thing as Christians typically is like, don't have an abortion. That's the message we give across. Don't do it, whatever you do.
Right.
Not going to do it? Great.
Yeah.
I got to go to lunch.
Yeah. See ya.
There's no
And
help.
it's like, and I think a lot of fear-based decisions go bad anyway. So if you're sitting there and you're 24 and you got pregnant and you have no support, no family, this is a fearful moment for a lot of people. So we make it about issues when really sometimes it's about fear. What would you do? Like it doesn't forget about morality. Like, hey, do you know that the Bible says that God creates masterpieces in the womb and he knew you before you even took a breath, which we all believe? Guess who's not hearing that? The woman who has 77 fears about how will I live? Yeah. How will I feed it? What will I do? Doesn't make it right, doesn't make it wrong. Yeah. But we act like this is not real.
Yeah.
And we're giving awesome scripture
to someone who
might not even be a Christian, mind you.
I think that's the thing, like bringing our morality to someone who doesn't even agree with our morality.
Insanity.
It's like Jesus always met people where they were, healed them, made them whole, and then was like, hey, let's have a conversation, right?
Yeah.
And I think like Christians need to show up in a way that is not just like, don't do that, but like, hey, like, come, we will help you to do this, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to tell somebody they're wrong. It's harder to pay their bills.
Right.
But man, it feels great to tell you that you're wrong. Like, did you tell that young woman that, we're pro-life? Yeah. This is a Texas voice. Tell that young girl that, we're pro-life.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Are you going to give her the good word? We are. We're definitely going to do that first. We're going to absolutely make sure they know that they're safe and they're accounted for, that they matter, and that, so to us, that's always been our passion. There's an interesting study done, 2017, 95% of women who had abortions did not regret it immediately, but 60% reported unresolved emotional pain years later when support systems failed. So in your experience, what can you speak to in regards to mothers who do regret that decision to have an abortion? And we pastored a church in New York, and over and over and over and over again, we spent a lot of time praying with women who carried this horrific burden.
Shame, yeah.
And it was beautiful to be able to tell them, you are absolutely forgiven. You are absolutely, God smiles and shines on you. And we don't know what led to that, but we do know that God forgives. You don't have to live with the burden of that grief and that shame. It is definitely real. And this is not a political issue. I'm not even talking about that. I'm saying the women that we have had hundreds of experiences in I'm 46. We've been doing ministry our whole lives. And there's a lot of women who carry that. So do you see that a lot when you are in this world of women who have been down that road, and what it's like after for the women who look back and they regret it?
Yeah, for sure. And I think like there's so much, all the stats in general are, can be interpreted a lot of different ways. And I think one of the studies that I really focus on is one done in 2023, and it's post-abortion sentiment based on the pressures to make the decision. And I think that's a really important thing to like zone in on, because a lot of people are like, oh, motherhood, abortion, you're happy, you're not happy, your life's better, but it's like in that decision-making time, if you're pressured into motherhood, or if you're pressured into an abortion by a boyfriend, a parent, whatever it is, the pressure to make that decision is ultimately, this study shows, what's going to lead to that dissatisfaction down the line, that regret, that pain. And so it's like, I think we often are like, do this, don't do this, rather than being like, hey, the pressure, the stress that these women are under, we need to alleviate that, right? We need to come with a solution that is a deep breath.
Phoebe,
is calm, is safe.
It's beautifully said. I think Laura and I, were told this during our own traumatic, hard moment. Whatever you do, don't make big calls.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a baseline of therapeutic thinking to understand, like, you're in a bad spot. Don't be making calls. Don't sell your car.
Big decisions,
don't divorce your husband. Don't get just try to get yourself settled. Well, unplanned pregnancy, there is a ticking clock that you don't have the luck. You're making decisions out of trauma, and especially if it's unexpected, that in and of itself is bone rattling when it comes to what that feels like from what we're told. So I think I found this super interesting as well, and anything that comes out of Harvard, I trust. I'm a sucker. Harvard could put a study out on anything, and I'd be like, well, Harvard says that, you can fly. But I do believe this one. This is, let me go up to, this is a more of a church study from Barna. 65% of women who had abortions and were raised in church felt they'd be unwelcome if they told somebody at church. Let me say that real slow. And anything from a church study, I immediately cut in half as far as it not being true. We were pastors of a church forever. Never once have I participated in a study or known anyone who has. But yet, man, do we love touting these stats. But let's just say there's some truth to this. 65% of women who had abortions were raised in church. They felt like they'd be unwelcome if they told someone at church. That is an indictment on everything that we call church. Thank God there's churches out there who do not, if you're in a spot like that, you can find a church where people will love you through it. That's just, that cannot be the way it sits. But Harvard says that research on paternal involvement after crisis pregnancy, by the way, shows that when fathers stay present, 80% of women reconsider abortion. We never hear that stat. I wonder why that would be. And I read that today, and I'm like, it's very interesting that if the dad is, to me, it speaks to support. Like, if women knew that I wasn't going to do this journey alone and I could get help, I wonder what the abortion crisis in America would look like.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Do you feel like do you feel like it's a support issue above all else?
Yeah, I think it's like you kind of raised two really interesting things there. The first one being like that it's Christian women, right? We often say like, oh, this isn't a Christian women problem. Like, Christian women would never do this. They would never have an unplanned pregnancy at all, right?
Right.
But like, we've done surveys on Christian college campuses.
Oh yeah.
Right. And been like, if you were in this situation, what are you thinking about doing? Every single woman's like, of course I'm considering that, because how can I show up to my circle of friends, to my church, and everyone will know what I've done. So I'm going to quietly deal with this. Right. Because it's like the space isn't safe enough for me to come. So I think that, like,
That's real.
as we partner with churches to bring Plana in as like an education piece for how churches and Christians show up for women with unplanned pregnancies, that is so important.
Huge.
And then I think the other piece you raise is like the father's involvement, right? Which, you know, I'm so glad to see like stories like your marriage in our society right now, because there isn't a lot of great examples of like
perfection. That's our big. That's what we stand on. Yeah. Hey, you want to see how to do it perfect?
Thanks,
Yes.
Phoebe.
Lights
That's
on.
great.
Exactly
Continue.
what it was.
Yeah.
Of men like taking responsibility and stepping up and being like, you know what, I need to take the responsibility for this situation, right? I can't leave it all to this woman who's trying her best to make this. And so I love any kind of work done in the space of like building men up to good examples of what it's like to take responsibility for your actions. I think the way that it interacts with us in adoption is, you know, lots of different states have lots of different legislation on how the father of the baby is involved in that process or not involved, because it can be difficult.
Yeah.
If a woman wants
Huge.
to place for an adoption and they need a legal signature from the father, but she doesn't know where he is, like that's a difficult kind of situation to be in, right? So I definitely think the more support you give, if there's family members, if there's a partner, if there's a friend, if there's one person in her life that says like, what do you want to do? And I'm going to stand by you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to support you to make a life-affirming choice. That makes all the difference. And particularly, I think, if it's a partner.
Tell me this. I mean, talk about adoption for a second. There, from what I've seen, 2 million couples waiting to adopt in the U.S. And we're moving towards about 1 million abortions a year. So the math tells me the need isn't for fewer babies. It's for better systems. So how could it be that we have 2 million plus people waiting to adopt, and we have almost 1 million abortions a year? Talk to me about this missing adoption link. To me, it seems like the easiest play. Why is it so complicated? Like if a couple cannot have a child on their own and they desperately want to have a family and they're waiting, and then we have women, it seems to me there's a bridge missing. Like if you knew that you had an unplanned pregnancy and there were people waiting, they've been praying for this child to be theirs. Yes, that road is still going to be very, very hard and difficult, but it would seem to me like it would open up a whole lot of options. So talk to me about why adoption is why can't we connect these two issues? It frustrates me. I don't understand.
Yeah, no, that's exactly like when I first looked into this, like the stat that was overwhelming is that less than 1% of unplanned pregnancies result in adoption. Less than 1%.
Less than 1%
of
unplanned pregnancies result
in adoption.
Wow.
Right? But you have 1 in 6 married American women that will experience infertility at some point.
Yes.
You know, which leads to this estimate of 2 million American couples waiting to adopt. And when you ask the average person, and I talk to a lot of people about this, they think, okay, less than 1% result in adoption. It's because there's not enough loving families, right? That's like the narrative that we all believe, because we conflate adoption, private infant adoption, with the foster system, right? Because it's the same word. It's both adoption, right? And so because of that, everyone's like, oh, well, there's not enough loving families and there's too many children without homes, which is true for foster, but is not true for infant adoptions, right? And so there's just a lot of misinformation around here, and a lot of women, like, adoption is not marketed well, right?
No.
Motherhood is like the brave, sacrificial, like beautiful option. Abortion is marketed as like the modern feminist kind of solution. And adoption, it's kind of like stuck in the 1800s, stuck in like stigma and secrecy and like a bad story that you heard from your cousin's uncle, right?
Right.
Adoption's not marketed well. But as you look at the pieces, you look at the rising infertility rates, you look at the unplanned pregnancy problem that we have in the US, it's like the reason why isn't the lack of families.
Yeah.
It's that young women aren't seeing it as a viable solution. And I think it's because it doesn't meet them where they're at.
But how would she even do that?
Yeah.
Las Vegas.
But how would she even do that?
But how would she even do that?
Yeah.
Las Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
where you live, woman has an unplanned pregnancy, decides to keep the baby. She has zero support.
Yep.
How long would it take her to even find out? Like, how would a young girl even know how to even put her child up for adoption?
Yeah.
I mean, I know I keep pointing to what Plana's app is going to be, but like before what we're going to talk about, before you invented this epic life-saving moment, how would you even do that? Like, that's what's so funny to me when people make abortion, about this big it's like, man, these are practical decisions women are making. You're by yourself. You have nowhere to turn. What do you do? Like, how long does it typically take to even figure out what to do?
Yeah.
Is there an adoption hotline? Hey, I'm pregnant. Don't want to keep the baby. Who will take my child?
Yeah, like there is some good adoption resources. The agency that we work with, like I think there's some great agencies out there. But I think the problem right now is that most resources are just across the spectrum are waiting for the woman to make a decision and come to them, right? If you want an adoption, you basically are making the decision in your mind, Googling adoption agency and giving them a call, right? Same with the
Right.
Pregnancy Resource Center. But the problem with that is there's not really a lot of mind changing, right? It's kind of like if you're presenting to a Pregnancy Resource Center, like you've pretty much chosen life.
Yes.
If you're presenting to an abortion facility, you've pretty much chosen to have an abortion. If you're presenting to an adoption, same thing, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't think we're playing in the spaces that actually help women, which I think is online, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
not going to call. I would rather do anything but make a phone call. And I think that's
Same.
pretty
Yeah.
Who wants
in
to
the
do that?
generation,
Yeah.
right? I don't want to chat to an AI bot on a website.
No.
I don't want to email someone. I do not want to walk into a weight room,
No.
Right.
right? But I download a couple apps every week.
Yeah.
Play around with them. If it's not serving me, I delete them. If it is, I keep it, right? We need to have women being able to access life-affirming resources in their bedroom from the privacy of their phone, so they don't have to get in their car, drive across town, sometimes drive out of town because they're too ashamed to be seen in their own hometown going into a pregnancy resource clinic.
So this could be like, you take a test, you find out you're pregnant, you panic, don't know what to do, click on Plana's app, and you're able to hit a button that says, what are my options for adoption right away?
Yeah.
That's how practical this could be.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many situations can change because of that. I mean, it seems so simple.
Well, I think as a mum and knowing, like, having the support of, a husband and doing all that, being pregnant, I love your app because it gives that woman the freedom to be like, oh crap, I'm pregnant. What am I going to do? It's a beautiful space so that they can, like, what you have in the app is so amazing. Like, I wish that, 20 years ago when we were all having babies, that this was an option for people, because it is a scary thing. And that's even being married and having that support. But if you're I think about the young girl that doesn't have any support, what you're bringing to the table with this app is so amazing, so life-changing. And I'm so excited to see it come to life, like, and to see people get the help they need. Because that's when I first met you and I was like, this is amazing. Like, what you're doing is literally going to be life-changing for people.
Yeah.
And for these women who maybe are even married and aren't ready to have a baby. Like, there's so many people that will take your baby, and it's like, I'm excited for the future for what you're bringing. And I think it's going to be so incredibly life-changing for women and, and for this country,
Yeah.
and to be
The
able to
the
have
greatest
that.
country.
I don't know about that.
Both of you, pipe down. Yes.
But no, I'm really excited because people need those options.
And I think you tap on an interesting thing here. Young women, pregnancy support is so often very crisis branded. It's like, this is the end of the world. But I'm like, young women, I think, don't need to be told that. They're feeling that.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing that I do love about our app is it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's wellness focused, and it connects her to education opportunities and job opportunities and paints the picture for her life post-pregnancy.
Yeah.
I don't think
I love
I don't
it.
think that you can say you're pro-life if you are pro to the end of the pregnancy of her life.
Yeah.
And then just
You're on your own,
sort it
honey.
out, right? Because that's not going to be a
Yeah.
good trajectory,
Yeah.
right? And so being able to make it beautiful, making it empowering, being women's wellness focused
Yeah.
Yeah.
as opposed to crisis pregnancy focused.
Yeah.
Like I think that's what young women
100%.
want.
And I see this happening like for churches, you know, as someone who was a pastor of a church, I would have loved to have been able to have this app for women who were
Yeah.
like in trouble. And it's
Yeah.
like, here, look, you have all this, and we can start classes and programs in our church because of
Yes.
this app.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh,
think
I'm
I
so
will-
excited for
I
churches to
will
get
say
behind this.
to all the amazing pastors and leaders that listen to Lights On,
Yeah.
1,000,000% check it out. Look at it, because do you remember when we had Ava? And me and Laura would be the definition of beautiful support systems. Like
Yeah.
we can't keep our parents out of our kids' lives. Like it's like we don't need any more diapers, right? We get in the car with Ava, we put her in the back seat of the car. I'll never forget. We drive away. We're like, what the do we do?
What do we do now?
That's a human.
Yeah.
Like what happened? Like, do they sit up? Like, and
Right.
we had a beautiful God-given support system, and it was extraordinarily scary. And then you see these stories on TV with babies being found in closets.
Because they have
And
no one.
and you judge and villainize this woman,
Yeah.
and you're going, do you think that she knew what to do?
Yeah.
Right.
Like she's either demon possessed and she wanted to kill her own child, or the amount of not having, and these aren't excuses. They're just, this is real life.
Yeah.
Like when you see children that are just abandoned, it's awful. And whoever abandoned that baby had in their mind nowhere to go and nothing to do. Can you imagine what would this abortion debate look like if we could stand on these ridiculous systems? Like rather than, and both need to happen. We need people on the front lines who are going to battle for what they believe. Do your thing. Like we need legislation. We need people in government, obviously. But the real fight is going to go on in these streets every day until law, because we've had multiple presidents and laws swing and shift. The problem remains, and it always will.
And like revoking access, regardless of where you fall on that political spectrum, like women are going to travel.
They're going to travel.
Right?
It's
Like,
not going to change.
It's not going, like if you think that you can revoke access and the problem will go away, like you're just putting your head in the sand.
Correct.
Because unless you are giving, you can't condemn someone for doing something and not give them a better solution, right? Like, Plana was founded on this idea of don't condemn for what they're doing, show them something better and help them along to that,
Exactly.
right?
Like
Which is typically the Jesus ideal, which is, yes, you can talk about hell. You can also talk about this brilliant life that focusing on the God that saved your life. What will that do more than like don't?
Well,
Yeah.
if we made it more about what is possible with adoption than the fact of like don't have abortions.
Yeah.
It's like, what if we put all our focus on how beautiful adoption is and put some money into that for these people
Exactly.
and these women and people who don't know what to do. Instead, we make it always like, no, and bad. It's like, well, let's create something beautiful and simple so people can have their babies and they're supported all the way through.
Yeah.
Financially, like every aspect, but we just always focus on this negative.
In churches make the biggest stands. And I felt this as a leader of a church. I'm like, if we're going to be seen as a pro-life, visionary place, we need to have bells and whistles. We need to have glowing hospitals. We need to be like, because it has to happen. You have to make a stand. We have to fight for legislation. You have to do all that. Like, you have to speak the truth. But my point is, in the middle, let's also have some fruit on the table. And we're not just pointing out what's bad and what's wrong and what God says. And here's this treasure chest of options for you to change your life.
Yeah.
Or here's an app.
Yeah. That was a good
So
set.
well, I'm just saying, imagine if
It's an app.
every church that believes and staunchly stands on their pro-lifeness, cool, no judgment, awesome. Show me as well how
me by your
quickly you can get
actions.
people the help. Like, so you're
Yeah.
you know, I think it's a beautiful opportunity right now.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think that's right on. And my heart is with all of the organizations in this space who provide something.
Yeah.
Right? You know, there's a lot of really, I think, beautiful, often very well-meaning people, Christians, who provide, you know, free diapers, who provide, you know, something in the journey. And I love that. And I, you know, they have my respect. But there isn't something that brings it all together.
No.
And a woman is expected to take these 20 different, you know, beautiful organizations
Yeah.
and case manage that herself and figure out when I'm going to here and when I'm doing that and schedule that appointment and do this. And it's like, I admire the efforts that are going on in this space, but there is not one like full solution. There's nothing that brings together all of the efforts into one convenient place for her.
That's what I love.
And the fact that Christians ourselves can't agree on some things is just even more confusing for women.
Yeah.
And so if there is a space, you know, like you were saying about the idea of like, let's make adoption something that is very like positive. And I think that's like the caps that we have say the word connection on them, right? And we're really trying to focus on adoption is a legal process, right? It is a legal process of paperwork and different things. But this idea of connection, K-I-N, connection, is what is all of the support in the greater journey that she needs to go from an unplanned pregnancy to an empowered life. Adoption is a small part of that process.
Yeah.
But connection, this is the idea we want to run with. What does it mean to fully support a woman who doesn't have that support system? You know, some women do. I'm so grateful that, you know, my parents would stand behind me if that was my situation, but so many women don't. So can we make this idea of a connection like the new way that unplanned pregnancies are, you know, we show up for women?
Yeah, and connection's a great word. I love all of the Plana marketing. I think it all matters. I think one of the reasons Planned Parenthood has absolutely dominated the space is because they're freaking smart. Doesn't
great marketing.
Right, wrong. I mean, you talk about like, here's my first experience with Planned Parenthood, Brooklyn, New York. We just started Hillsong, New York City, and I am naive to some things. So I'm walking down the street, and these two Planned Parenthood reps come up and be like, "Hi, would you like to get involved in Planned Parenthood?" I'm like, "Planned Parenthood? That sounds amazing. I'm in. Tell me more. Like, this is about planning parenthood? I mean, what parents don't need help planning how to do it?" And she starts reading what they do, and I'm like, "Wait a second. This isn't about planning parenthood. This is about something completely different." And it was crazy because I feel like I, you know, have my head wrapped around some social issues, but they got me hook, line, and sinker. And I'm sitting there talking to these two reps, and it dawned on me, oh, you know, Planned Parenthood performs 370,000 abortions a year. And I think it reveals to me that maybe part of their success is not just about slogans, it's about structure. So you walk into one of their facilities, they've got it hooked up. They've got you covered. They've got you. They got options. They get into me. I'm going. What's the other side? Do we have anything even close? We don't. I mean, we even can dilute it all the way down to if you had to do something that represents pro-choice, Planned Parenthood. Is there an organization that represents pro-life? No. There's some loud, mean, very heavy-handed Christians that'll tell you our view, but we don't have a place that represents. I wish there was a place that pro-choice people could point to hate, like we point at Planned Parenthood to hate. We don't have the thing in place yet, and to me, that's something significant. Do you think that Planned Parenthood has had success because of that structure?
Yeah, and I think like it's like we're in an interesting position of we're not trying to go up against anyone or try to join forces with anyone. Like we're trying to say, hey, if motherhood is not the thing for you and abortion is not the thing for you, there is a third solution, right? Let's talk about a third solution. But I look to Planned Parenthood and I think like it's a business case study of really well-run management, right?
Agree.
It's
Yeah.
like standardized structure, something that women can rely on in
Yeah.
a stressful time to be the same every time.
Yeah.
Proactive marketing efforts and proactive, connections on birth control or sex ed or those kinds of things. The trust is built
Right.
well before an unplanned pregnancy. So of course, a young woman is going to turn to the organization that she feels she trusts
Yeah.
because they've been starting the conversation early on. I think that a lot of life-affirming resources sit back and wait for an unplanned pregnancy and then try to come on in and try to say, this is what you should do. But there is no relational equity there.
None.
There is no trust that's been
Yeah.
built. You can't expect someone to trust you with their whole life choice
Yeah.
in a moment, right? And so I think that we need to step up and have conversations early on
Yeah.
and proactively connect with women and show them
Yeah.
good, wholesome content that can actually decrease the amount of unplanned pregnancies.
Yeah.
Like studies show that increased body literacy for young women decreases the amount of unplanned pregnancies. That's what we want to be doing so that when a woman has an unplanned pregnancy, she says, you know who I trust because I know that they've got my back,
Yeah.
Plana.
What I wonder, it'd be an interesting case study if you had a Planned Parenthood center and you had a Plana center right here, and you knew nothing about it and you couldn't market it, and you had a woman who had an unplanned pregnancy in the middle, and she got to visit each location. I wonder what that would be like, because. And huge shout out. There are organizations that are pro-life that are, living and dying on the front lines. They are amazing. God bless you. I'm pointing to the bigger, imagine if you're faced with this decision and you visit Planned Parenthood and you visit Plana. Just wonder what the outcome would be. Because I guarantee you right now, you're going to go visit Planned Parenthood, get all your options. And I'm not sure that there is something that's going to be so compelling that it's like, okay, they just told me how I can end my pregnancy, and they're going to give me these 5 steps after. They're going to give me support. Over here, they're telling me that God hates abortion and that I am an awful person.
How is that helpful?
I mean, it's not a marketing issue, but my gosh, it's not a marketing issue.
Yeah.
And that's
I was going to say, I'm sure there's people out there, and maybe you know of them, but I'm like, off the top of my head, I can't think of any. But that are doing anything like you are even doing. But
I mean, I've got
do you
friends.
know of any?
Well, I know Jason and David Benham in Charlotte, North Carolina. They are amazing.
Oh yes,
They pour
Benham
their
brothers.
life into this. There are people who do it. My point is the global imprint. There's nothing to point to yet.
There's individual good and bad organizations, I think, and even the bad organizations, I'm like, they're well-meaning, but I just don't think maybe making the impact they hope to be making. But yeah, you're exactly right that there needs to be standardization, because I can't feel comfortable sending a friend of mine into an organization if I know that she's going to be met by a volunteer. Who isn't being checked for quality assurance and will let their own personal beliefs and values come through, right?
Exactly. That's the thing.
Because I don't think that's safe. Even if I understand why they're doing it, I don't think that's safe. And so, the idea that you said of a woman coming to a Plana options counselor or going to a Planned Parenthood, I hope what stands out is her listening to us tell her options, and her looking at us in the eyes or, through the phone. Saying, these people are actually for me. These people actually want my life to be better off because of this.
Phoebe, you're tapping my annoyance nerve as a former pastor, when I used to tell people all the time, imagine walking into a Planned Parenthood center. Who are you walking through? These are people that are holding up signs of mutilated babies, which is legitimate. There's people who are yelling Bible at you. They are already condemning you. And then you go into Planned. That is your imprint. And we can't figure out why. To me, this is inarguable. I know there are pro-choice people who can get behind Plana, because we're not even talking about this dogmatic issue. We're talking about women who have an unplanned pregnancy and they want to know what their options are. Who can push back on Plana? Nobody. If you do, I got questions for you. How? How could you? What's the problem?
100%.
What's the problem with telling women before you make any decisions, look at all your options? Here they are. That's what Plana
Well, that's
does.
what I love about Planner is that you've said before, you don't take sides.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like you're just bringing all the options.
Yep.
You
And
bring
saying-
solutions.
And
And
solutions, and
saying-
we will help you all the way through.
We will help you. And also just like, I think that there is and it's interesting being not a US citizen, right? I'm living in this country.
You're
I
lucky
was
to be here,
born in
Phoebe.
Australia.
Let me just tell you something.
I love it here.
It-
It's good fun.
We're really getting our immigration
my
stuff
gosh.
together, and
Yeah, I'm like,
we're going to raise the
Yeah.
bar because the
No
people
one
in this
tell.
country are so high quality that we're just sick of,
That's
letting
it.
people in who don't measure up. This is America.
That's it.
Okay,
That's
we get
it.
it
my
done.
gosh.
We're the beginning and the end of the world, and you both are lucky to be here. Matter
Oh,
of
wait.
fact,
Wow.
we need to get ICE in here
Wow.
to check out whether this is legitimate. To be
Wow.
honest with you, trust me. Continue.
But people, I do feel like the average person isn't on the extremes, right? But all
No,
we
they're not.
hear are the extremes, and all we hear is the noise of what we disagree on.
Yes,
Particularly in this topic.
there's a lot of reasonable people
Right?
in the middle.
It's a lot of reasonable
A
people.
lot.
And so I think it's like, what can we agree on? And I
Yeah.
think we can agree that women in unplanned pregnancy situations need support.
Check.
They need to have a safe environment
Check.
with a support system.
By
and they-
party checks. That's two.
Exactly.
Keep going.
We agree that that there's processes in the adoption space that are really great, and we've made a lot of progress. In
Check. 3 for
adoption.
3. Red, blue. Check, check.
Awesome.
We're now in the purple.
We agree that if children are if a woman chooses a motherhood route and she doesn't have the support and options for that, if she's kind of railroaded in that, that's going to cause generational trauma, right?
We all agree on that.
So it's like, this is something like accessible adoption. This isn't this is a people issue, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the Congressional Coalition of Adoption in DC, this is a blue-red 50-50 split.
Yeah.
This is in everyone's interest
Yeah.
for women to be connected, for the infertility issue to have some sort of help in solution there. IVF is not cheap. It's not always successful. It's a heartbreaking process for a lot of women.
Not cheap, Phoebe. I know you're 24, but it is a financial lifetime commitment to go down that road.
Exactly.
I mean, it is. It costs couples literally everything.
Yeah. And so I just really want Plana to not be another organization that adds to the noise and the back and forth and the
Beautifully
debate
said.
and the argument, but saying, hey, the average person can agree that children need to be in good homes and women need
It's a
support
huge support.
for their future, not just for now, but they
Yeah.
need to be better off post-pregnancy. So who can
Yeah.
argue with that?
Nobody.
Right?
I mean, God never gave me the gift He's given you. I was called to lead a church, which right off the bat, people are going to hate you.
Yep.
If you find something in life that you can actually stand on with there's no reasonable pushback. Like to someone to oppose what you do, they're one of those people you see on TikTok. So you're like, oh, Lord Jesus, do something about this human, because there's really nothing to argue about.
For someone to push back on Plana, their own need to argue
Way more important than the needs of
is
the woman.
coming
Yeah.
ahead
Well
of
said.
the needs of the woman.
Well said. All right. You are a dynamic, compelling human, and we are really proud of what you've done, what you're going to do. Can't wait to see it. I want to end with this. So if you can help me look at a future, so you have to take off your analytical brain for a second. What would be the impact of Plana on this crisis if it became a staple of people's lives? Churches supported it. Somebody watching right now who has millions to give, and they realize right now, I'm going to give millions of dollars to that 24-year-old Aussie chick who is building something that is literally, there's no questions left. Like, this is just a good idea, and they're going to donate millions. And all of a sudden there's momentum. What does the future look like with a Plana that operates like that? So fast forward for me. Plana is fully funded. It's crushing, and everybody knows about it. What might this situation look like?
Yeah, no, I love this question. I see the future so clearly around what will happen when Plana does become a nationwide organization, right? You have adoption, connection, right, as our kind of broader idea of what adoption is, connection is the rational choice for a woman facing an unplanned pregnancy. She says, I'm scared, but I know I'm not alone because I can go on this app, get all the resources that I need right at the click of a button with people who want the best for me and be connected to a future that's brighter post-pregnancy, right? It's nationwide, so it's accessible everywhere in every state. Women can access medically checked clinical counseling sessions and know that they're safe. And it's not going to, the quality assurance is good, right? Everywhere you go, you can expect that this is a safe environment to be exploring this. For churches, they're finally equipped with a tool that they can actually recommend.
Beautiful.
That they don't need to reinvent the wheel and figure out what's our solution. We can come in and say, these are all the resources you need to serve your community and to serve the women in your congregation. And so, you know, more families are created. More young women have brighter futures ahead of them. More little babies are growing up in stable, loving homes. I see it as just, this could be the turning point on so many different social issues. And so this kind of tech innovation has happened in every other industry.
Sure
like this isn't new, right? It's just new to this.
It's shocking
industry.
that it hasn't existed before.
It's shocking.
I couldn't believe when you first told me about the plan. I immediately started looking. I'm like, surely someone's thought of this. I could not believe that no one's done this.
Yeah, and I think that's been the overwhelming response that I've been getting from different women. How has this not happened already? How is this not a reality? How are we still stuck in you know, decades and decades ago, basically, in terms of like care and reach out?
It reminds me of a situation where it's like, I'm gonna invent something where you can just pay a driver to take you from A to B. That'll never work.
Exactly.
I mean, people will never. It's too complicated. I mean, it worked well.
Exactly.
To me, it should be that second nature. Like, of course, there should be a place.
Yeah.
Of course, there should be a connection point. So
100%. And it's like this is the first time we've had a digital scalable solution for this, right? The faster that we have churches and communities raise their hands and say, I want to be instrumental to bringing Plana to my community, then we expand like wildfire, right?
We win.
Awesome.
We're going to have you back a bunch. I want to keep hearing about what's going on. I mean, we've talked about policy. We've talked about pain. But at the end of the day, this is about people. And, you know, if compassion had a business plan, this is it.
I love it.
If conviction had a community, Plana can be that. And if the church really wants to lead, this is a beautiful place to start. Yeah. So thank you for your bravery. It's not easy to do, but you're loved and you're supported. If you listen to Lights On, I'd love for you to think about hopping online, checking it out. There are things you can make, little donations. If you have a set, just talk about like even the $9 thing, because I mean, it's such a beautiful plan. But
tell us what
tell
people
us about
can
that.
do.
Yeah, so essentially we have a couple different ways to get involved. Like you can partner with us as a church, partner with us as an organization. If you want to join the Ninefold, which is our monthly giving community, the idea is that in 9 months we get to have a ninefold or, you know, a multiplying effect in her life. So you can join to be kind of part of that and see the stories of women as they go across through their journeys.
How much does it cost to be a part of that?
It's just a monthly gift at a minimum of $9.
$9.
Come on, an LA coffee.
Diet Coke, a Diet Coke and a Fit Crunch bar is going to run me 11
Right.
3 times a day.
Exactly.
So for $9,
A pack of Zin. How much is a Zin pack?
I don't even know.
Yes, you do. You're a closet Zinner. My point is, if you stand on your issue publicly, and you've tweeted, and you have Instagram, and you have TikToked about your stance, I need to see at least a $9 investment in a place that. So at least you've got one thing. At least you've got one thing to stand on, other than your loud view. I got loud views. I love them. But if they don't have some substance behind it, they don't mean anything. So you are that substance, Phoebe. So keep on doing what you're doing. Lighten up Las Vegas with a different kind of lights. And I have a feeling that it's gonna spread. So we love you. We're proud to sponsor and to be a partner with you in this journey. And it's awesome. Go Australia.
Yeah, no, love it.
Anything you want to say before you sign out for now?
Yeah, no, just that. Thanks for the support from both of you. I think it's a special place to be connecting with real Christian visionaries, people who understand like what needs to happen today to make sure that we are on the forefront of this tomorrow. And so it's an exciting time. You know, we're launching next week in Las Vegas in the App Store.
Let's go.
And we will be doing a smaller group just to test things out. But this is going to grow like wildfire.
Yeah.
And this is going to grow because regular people put up their hands and say, I want to be part of this solution. And I want to bring this to my community. I want to support. I want to donate. You know, this only happens if everybody gets involved.
Yeah.
And so I'm expectant. I'm excited to see where this is going to go.
Yeah. Excited for you.
What an awesome conversation. Thank you.
Plana.org.
Plana.org.
Plana, because
Not
people think because of my accent that it's
Yeah.
ER.
Yeah, I know.
It's hard to
Plana.
understand. It's hard to understand.
Plana.
Both of you. Plana. We love you, Phoebe. Till next time. Lights on. We love you.